Hey friends, so today's episode is called How to Become a Reader, and this episode is dedicated to everyone who has been saying they want to read more books this year, or get back into reading, or have always wanted to be a reader, and just it hasn't stuck. I think of a lot of factors kind of came together to lead me to be a lover of books or a bookworm. It might have been as early as the times when I watched Sesame Street or when my parents bought me my own record player. And I'm not sure if it was the only record, but it was the only one I played, and it was Winnie the Pooh. I had the book, and it was like a read-along that went along with the record player. When I was so young that my sisters weren't even born yet, my mom would take me to different libraries, public libraries in San Diego, and we would go like midday for reading time, and it was something that I really looked forward to. And then later in life, maybe elementary or middle school, I remember going through a bookshelf at my grandmother's house that was filled with my aunt's college English books. So there's never been just one genre that has had my interest. It's always been many, like science fiction, drama, history, biographies, romance, thrillers. Sometimes I hit the jackpot just judging a book by its cover. And I especially loved picking up a stack of used books from like a local bookstore, or I'm not sure if they have it in your area if you're in America, but there's something called Friends of the Library, and they would have used books that you could buy for really discounted prices. And I just really enjoy just taking a chance and just grabbing a stack and being like, okay, which of these books will I love and which ones will I give away? So my love for books runs deep, but I know not everyone feels that way. I kind of think of reading in the same way I do eating vegetables, where I think everyone thinks it's good for them, but not everyone actually enjoys it. I think what makes it difficult to get into reading is also similar to vegetables. We approach it based on what we should be doing instead of what we actually enjoy. Just because the most popular book on shelves is some autobiography of a great public figure doesn't mean that should be your next read, especially if it really doesn't interest you. Another issue I see is people who only prioritize reading nonfiction and act as if fictional publications have no value. And to me, this couldn't possibly be true. Books of all kinds, novels, compilations, essays, poetry, it has all brought value to my life. The first step for reading is really being realistic about what you're truly curious about. You could choose a young adult novel in the fantasy genre, a collection of poems, or even a medical book. As long as you're picking up a book you enjoy or something where you want to learn something new, that's truly half the battle. I think the other mistake we make is judging ourselves for how long it takes to read a book and for how many times we find ourselves distracted. When you choose to buy certain books, there's no telling if that's the exact time you'll have an interest in reading it. The other thing is, whether you read 10 pages or 100 pages, there's still some value there. Reading can also provide a bit of an escape, and that's one of the reasons fiction appeals to me. When the author is good, I truly become lost in the world they have created. What may start off as a slow start, later might pick up, and before I know it, I have a crystal clear picture in my mind of what the characters look like, and I can even kind of see the landscape. I remember the first time I read a science fiction book. It was written by Octavia Butler, and it was called The Fledgling. I won't spoil the story for you, but while I did go into it with an open mind, I never imagined the exploration of a world of aliens where humans are considered the foreigners. And by being exposed to that world, I didn't expect to also get a deeper perspective of what my humanity actually means. Her writing is so personal. I felt like the narrator, like the dialogue, it was like I could easily hear it in my mind, and it was like someone was writing a letter to me. I went on to read many more of her books, and I was never in a rush, just as they came to me, as they piqued my interest, and they were always right on time. And that's the thing about reading. I feel like whenever it is we are actually able to get that book to stick, where we can continue through and go chapter to chapter, that's the right time. Now, some might lean away from something like science fiction and prefer something in the self-help genre, or maybe like a finance book. This is more directly about personal development. I love it because who wouldn't want to grow and improve the quality of your life? If it works, it works. But sometimes the personal development books can leave a person overwhelmed. The book outlines a new set of habits, and those habits are supposed to lead to better results. But it can be frustrating when those habits are implemented and you don't end up where you want to be. But those books are typically general and written from one specific person's perspective, so they're really not able to encapsulate the nuance of each of our lives. They're not meant to really serve as a handbook for life, but instead they offer a useful perspective from which we can take what's useful and throw out what's not. But to pull it all together, reading is for everyone. If you struggle to focus, consider pairing a physical copy of a book with the audio version. Much like I did when I was a child, I'm learning that that works for me when I'm feeling a bit distracted. Apps like Libby allow you to check out books for free with a public library card. Hearing the audio version while your eyes scan the pages can really help to train your attention and really help you rebuild your focus. Don't force yourself to read subjects or books you don't enjoy when it's your leisure reading time. That time is for you. Also, try not to discount fictional novels as not being educational, because you truly can learn from anything. If you've been saying you want to get back into reading, this is your year. Take it one step at a time, and most importantly, try to make it enjoyable. Thanks for listening.